G'day everybody, where's Wally here? Hey, the 50-minute International Space Station tour has been debunked. Well, according to Adam anyway.
I cannot believe Wally.
Now Adam, first off, you've not included the link to the original video in your description. Why have you not done that? What are you afraid of there, mate? Are you afraid that some of your subs might go and look at the video independently of you? Well, this is a must when you're doing the sort of review or science. You must include your references. I do, always.
So I was challenged to debunk the Undebunkable 50-minute ISS tour.
You mean you tried to avoid it at every turn until you were dragged kicking and screaming to the table?
Is it undebunkable?
Yeah, sure it is.
Nah, of course it isn't. It's just the usual tosh.
Tosh? Well, I think I had that in my Pete MK bingo card.
Bear with me. Now, first of all, this Undebunkable 50-minute tour was cited as having no cuts whatsoever originally.
Well, to be fair, Adam, I did say that there were no samurai cuts, meaning that there were not dozen cuts upon cuts, as you used to always complain about. Now, if you'd watched Pete MK's video, he told you that there were cuts, and I even told you there were cuts before you even started your viewing for your debunks. So it's a surprise to absolutely nobody but you, Adam.
But when you look at it, it's got several obvious cuts, at the very least. The first one at about the 28-minute mark, which I'm going to highlight here. Matey boy can see they're not ready for the next bit of stage work.
No, not stage work. Swanson saw that the cupola is dark, and they cut to recommence when there was sunlight in the cupola. Why is that difficult to understand? So the cut was just to wait for the sun. Are you a vampire, Adam? I ask because you totally avoided the cupola part of the video, and we all have to wonder why. Was it that you didn't want to show the globe Earth so majestically, so obviously out of the windows? Now, your little friend Avo, he was keen to go into the cupola video. He even thought he had a total debunk as the cupola was in sunlight. Heck, you even saw the sunlight straight out the window of the cupola. Then Swanson leaves the cupola and goes to the gem module, and just under 10 minutes later opens the window cover to reveal that it is now night, totally dark. Avo thought that that was something, but you shunned Avo and rejected that bit. That was a bit of a slap for poor Avo, Adam. But it turned out to be a good move by you, because you see Avo made some derpy claims like they never looked out all 6 windows. But they do, and luckily all 6 windows are actually labelled W1 to W6. How logical is that?
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on.
They started at W2, and over the next 2 minutes they looked out of window 3, window 2 again, window 4, window 2 again, then to window 3 again, window 4, 5, 6, and then back to window 1 before they left. But before we trip off to the gem and explain why it was dark there, let's take some notes. When they first arrived at the cupola, there was no sun shining on the far end circular window. But when we leave, there is. This is because the sun is setting at this point in time. And how do we know that, I hear you ask? When at 28:50 they look out W2, they see the Terminator is in the distance. Then at 30:08, they looked out window 5 to see the Soyuz and Progress crafts, and the sun is now fully visible under the truss, so it is fairly low to the horizon at this point in time. And at 30:23, I can see the Earth receding toward the sun, meaning the sun is setting. And at 30:47, you look out the W1 window, and we see that the solar array is pointing towards the sun, and the array is vertical, and the sunlight is definitely normal to the array. That means the sun is, like horizontal, so to speak.
I can't work that out.
And we can see the shadow on the handle between window 6 and window 1 is straight across. Finally, at 30:59, the Terminator is almost directly under the ISS. So from all those clues, we know that Colonel Mustard with the pool cue in the library. Oh wait, no, sorry, I mean, we know that the sun was about to set. And how long till the sun sets, Wally, I hear you ask? Well, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. On Earth, the sun angle changes by 1 degree every 4 minutes.
I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me.
On the ISS, which is travelling 16 times faster, the day is 16 times shorter, and the sun angle changes 16 times faster, so that's 4 degrees every 1 minute. So we know that the sun was roughly horizontal, so to speak. That means it's about 20 degrees above the horizon, as the dip angle from the height of 420 kilometres is about 20 degrees. So that means that the sun will set in 20 divided by 4, about 5 minutes.
I can't work that out.
After they left the cupola. They check out the window about 10 minutes later, so definitely the sun has set. That is why it's dark in the gem window. Anyway, back to Captain Cherrypick.
Alright. And we're going to have a cut. Now I'm going to fast forward to the second cut, which shouldn't have been there, based on what I was originally told by a group of fantasists.
Oh, listen to Adam banging on about the 2 cuts that you were told about. And what about the third cut at 1 minute and 7? Doesn't that one matter? Or did you not even know about that one?
It's roomy.
Now the second cut that shouldn't have been there is about the 42-minute 22-second mark, as we're about to see here.
Right there.
And get ready, cut.
This will get part of it.
So there's 2 blatant obvious cuts there, okay, in the footage that shouldn't have been there based on what I was originally told.
It seems that Adam thinks that the cuts were needed to allow the actors to have harness breaks, I guess to prevent chafing. But he never answered me about what length of time he considers to be too long to preclude harness use. I wonder why.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. And the reason for that is this isn't live footage, okay? Of course it's not live footage because it's cited as the best evidence out there. Flawless. So they wouldn't cite live footage where they'd put themselves at the risk of people like myself highlighting the bullshit.
Adam, you couldn't highlight if you're given a million-watt spotlight and 1,000 fluoro markers.
In the live footage, they allow themselves excuses. But because this isn't live, because this has got cuts to highlight that, and of course you wouldn't cite your best footage out there as evidence for the space industry being live. You'd have it done properly, as they've done. Remember, this is cited as flawless and undebunkable. It's got 2 cuts that shouldn't have been there, and we're about to destroy this silly charade.
Yes, you keep bigging yourself up, old boy, but do go on, destroy away.
Right, now watch the astronaut's right hand here as he transitions from one section of the ISS to another. But as he's doing so, the special effects department didn't quite get things right. And again, giving the game away, and very telling that it's at a transitional point from one section to another where this flawless footage comes unstuck. Like I say, watch the astronaut's right hand. His fingers actually go through solid metal. It's on loop. We'll zoom it in and slow it down in a minute. Look, his fingers go through solid metal. So we've already destroyed this silly charade. And do you know what? I haven't even seen all the footage. I've only seen 15 minutes of it, and I've already destroyed it.
That is the clip from the 49th minute of the Undebunkable video, and you're saying that you've only seen 15 minutes of it. So you go to the gem walkthrough at 38:20 to grab the still for your thumbnail. This destroying clip was from 49:10. The first cut you showed was from 28:08. The second cut was from 42:23. Seems like you've been all over the place in this video. I think it's pretty obvious to one and all that you are lying when you say you've only watched 15 minutes. I think after watching the full video you couldn't debunk any of it, and that you had to settle for the fingers on the metal.
I cannot believe Wally. But let's zoom in and slow this tosh down. And then when we zoom in and slow this silliness down, we can see this meltdown in all its glory. It's on loop. Our friend here, who's supposed to be part of something that's undebunkable, has just made a mockery of all his friends that cited this tosh as proof that demonstrable reality was wrong. Incredibly, he's either incredibly talented and has the ability to put his fingers through solid metal, or we've had a bit of a special effects meltdown here, exposing this silly charade.
Real, not convincing at all, Adam. Okay, Adam, you messed up yet again. The edge that Swanson puts his fingers on is the far lip, and there is another lip about 5 centimeters in front of that lip. And as the camera angle is low, you can't tell the difference. He puts his fingers between those two lips, and the tips are hidden. By what? They are hidden by the metal that they are behind. Oh, this is so good, Adam.
I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me. The problem is, with the footage I've highlighted today, which was cited as the cream of the crop, the best of the best, flawless, and of course not live, which means there wasn't any need for compression of the data. They didn't need to do that because it wasn't live. And remember, this was the cream of the crop, the best of the best.
Adam, you don't seem to have a Scooby-Doo what's going on with compression. The video was recorded. Live or not, it doesn't matter. And I'm not sure what this whole fascination with live is anyway. It was a video that was recorded in 2 big, long takes. But once the file is recorded, it still has to be transmitted to the ground. And that file is 1.13 gigabytes as downloaded from YouTube. So who knows just how big it was when it was uploaded.
I don't entirely know exactly what's going on. So the Undebunkable ISS 50-minute tour got turned over by the fingers of truth. And we had a little bit of help from Dave McKeegan. Nice one, Dave.
Oh, Adam has delusional breakdown. He seems to be making promises that he wasn't able to deliver. Instead of destroying the globe, Adam has just proved that he's capable of getting himself backed into a corner and nothing more.
How do they do this silly charade that fools naive individuals? Well, it's a blend of augmented reality, real-world physical props, special effects, green screens, harnesses, and very clever, cunning camera angles, and of course, very clever cuts, okay? That's how it's done.
So Adam, that is quite a list of things that you think are being done. Now, if you want to be called a demonstrable realist, hadn't you better demonstrate these things? Not one of the things on that list have you attempted to prove that they are being used in this video. You just tell us. Unfortunately, most of us are not your little loyal subs, and you just telling us doesn't pass the pub test, mate. Now, what I found very telling is that Adam didn't show any of the footage from the cupola. I guess he didn't want to give the game away, did he?
I've got very basic understanding, so you might have to bear with me. I find it extremely telling that a junction between 2 sections, we have a special effects meltdown, exposing the silly charade. A lot of the stuff you see where they go through from one section to another, which is cited as being impossible on a harness, there actually is no roof there. It's like a prop stage corridor with the harnesses, and the actual roof which you see in a lot of cases isn't actually there. It's either augmented reality or special effects to fool you, or fool naive individuals. And of course, that's why we get glitches. Remember, the excuses for what we're seeing here were low-res footage due to compression because of live broadcasts. But this was the cream of the crop. This wasn't live. This was cited as flawless. And yet it's just the usual tosh. Dear, oh dear.
Well, I do like to watch the Earth scroll by from the ISS. I have the live stream on the screen in my living room 24/7. and I see some amazing things drift by. Adam, meanwhile, is living in the state of, well, that joke just writes itself, doesn't it? Adam, once again, you've proved yourself to be lying like a sack of shit. Subscribe and click like and enjoy the views. Thanks, guys.